Hi everybody, this is Karthika. I'm with JC Jitendra Chouksey from Fittr. We're just going to be starting in another 5 minutes. We're going to wait for people to join in. So yeah, we just hold on for 5 minutes. I think maybe we can just have a casual chat until we start. How's quarantine going for you? You're on mute.
Yeah, it's been well. Besides the fact that I can't get a haircut, so I'm trying to hide my hair, and I'm trying to do a lot of stuff to make sure that they don't spike out. Shit.
Are you in Pune at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Pune. Yeah, and apart from that, I think it's pretty good. Just with my family, my daughter, and that's pretty much it.
How are you guys making it work at Fittr with the switch to remote work?
Not really that difficult, to be very honest. I think we are an online company, right? So our coaches anyways work from all over the world, and it has never been an issue. In fact, when the COVID thing happened early February, I think we were already we had already made up our mind that it's better that the whole company works remotely, and let's not wait for the government decision to come in. So I think we started working from home much before the government official announcement came in. So for us, it's been pretty interesting, amazing, and luckily we've been online, so we have not been hindered by the pandemic as much as others have, and my heart goes to us. But for us, it's been pretty good.
What are some of the tools you use?
Well, Skype, Zoom for sure, and apart from that, just the usual calendar, Google, and that's pretty much it. I think also there are some tools which also measure productivity. So my HR team they have installed some softwares that tell you how much time you're spending on what, and that gives us a good sense of who's spending how much time on office hours, and that has pretty helped. Yeah.
So what's your typical day like?
Well, I get up at around 7. I do my workout, help my wife with daily chores, and then I get started with my work. Of course, after taking shower and all. And then by 6 o'clock, we get free from work. I play with my daughter sometimes. All three of us, we just have some fun time, and that's pretty much it. Watch a movie, pretty much it. It's a pretty boring routine. I'm not like a very, but then it's pretty boring for everybody right now, right? So
yeah.
For the first time,
are you at a standing desk?
Actually, this is my kitchen table and this is my work spot. So I love working here because I have everything in proximity, like my water bottle, there's food, and apart from the fact, I think it's perfect height. So when I'm working, I work standing, and that just burns additional calories from any I'm consuming. And I'm a calorie conscious guy, so just take care of it. Plus, I somehow feel working standing is far more comfortable, so I can lean on this desk properly, and then so.
Okay, so I think we'll start. So, hi everybody, I'm Karthika, Community Manager at TapChief. Today I'm joined with JC or Jitendra Chouksey from Fittr, which is a Pune-based fitness startup. Fittr is a social network and consultation platform, and they also offer online fitness coach certification services, right?
So,
why don't you take us over how your journey's been and how you made the switch from an engineering background to full-time fitness?
Right. So this is something I keep telling everybody. It was sort of an accident. I was just a software engineer. I was working with different companies. I worked with L&T. I worked with IBM. I worked with roughly 5 companies in my career of over 8 years. And I was working as a SAP basis coach, SAP basis consultant. And throughout my software engineering career, I was also involved in fitness, and this is something which I've been doing for the last 20 odd years. So fitness was something which was kind of a habit for me. It was kind of my passion, and I was doing software engineering. Around 2013, I moved to Pune, and my daughter was born then. And I thought maybe I have to set a better example for her, because I'd been in Bangalore for almost 3 years, and I had picked up some bad habits like smoking, drinking, and all those things. And I said, let me get rid of them all. And I was anyways into fitness, so I started working at it. And over a period of time, I got better, started documenting, reading more, researching, and again, social media was pretty big back then, especially Facebook. So I started posting my pictures, workouts, and some tips on social media. And as a result, people started approaching me. So we formed a small WhatsApp group where I started guiding these people for free. Over a period of time, when they got results, they told other people, and suddenly I was being bombarded by people from all over the world. And they said, "Jishi, why don't you coach us?" And at one point of time, I remember I had a Google Drive with everybody's data in it, and I had a WhatsApp group which has roughly 200 members. And then WhatsApp has a limit that you cannot have more people in it, right? So I said, this is it. It's taking too much time of my life. Let me create a Facebook group. I'll put you guys there. Also, I'm going to write everything that you're asking me again and again. And, then you can just do it by yourself, just by reading it. So I did that. I created a document, get shredded, uploaded it on Facebook group. Instead of solving a problem, it actually created a bigger one, because then people were not just reading it and implementing it all by themselves. They were also having doubts and questions, especially the new guys, right? The document was fairly easy, but I think it was still fairly new for a lot of people who were not who were very new to fitness and all these things, right? So people started asking a lot of questions, doubts, and queries in the Facebook group, and I think roughly 25,000 people downloaded that document. And after that, the group suddenly bombarded the Facebook group. A lot of people started joining in, and I had no clue what was going on, because everybody was tagging me and asking me, "Hey, Jesse, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that?" And I think we ran that group for almost 1.5 years for free, without any plans of what was going on or what we had to do with the group. I think it kind of became a community. And over a period of time, I noticed that there was a recurring theme where people would come back to me and say, "JC, why don't you personally train me? I'm ready to pay you X amount of money, Y amount of money." And this is something which I did not understand. I was like, okay, I've given you everything for free. Why don't you just read and do whatever is written? And if you do it, you will get results. And some people were actually getting results, right? So I did not understand why this subset of people always wanted to come back to me and wanted me to personally train them. That's when the idea struck that, no matter what happens, some people cannot do it on their own, and they need some sort of hand holding. And if somehow, instead of me personally training people, if I just start educating some people, and then these people can handhold other people, we can have a business model wherein these guys can make money, and then they can reach out to many more people, because I wasn't willing to do that, right? And so we did that, collected some money from my initial stakeholders, $5,000, collected some $90,000, and we created a website in January 2016. I remember we launched it, and we were immediately a success. And luckily, we were around 50,000 members by then in the group, so we didn't have to advertise. In the first month itself, we got around 149 customers, 139 customers. We had 14 coaches back then. And that's it. We used all the profit and put it back in the company. And I remember we did a business of around 9.5 lakh rupees back then in the first month itself. So we put all that money back in the company, and we kept growing. And we kept growing like this. And in the last 4.5 years, we have done a cumulative gross revenue of over 100 crores. We have trained and transformed almost 120,000 plus people. The team grew from 14 coaches to now 220 plus coaches. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Pretty big numbers there. So you said that in your first month itself, you did 9 lakhs of business?
9.5, yeah, something like that.
So how did you actually engage with the community and grow it to such numbers in the very first month?
I think so. Look, the website was launched in 2016, but before that, I think I was regularly communicating with the community. I think by 2015, I had started taking seminars, and people knew me fairly well. I was as kind of a local popular face in Pune, so a lot of people knew me by then. And of course, the people who I had been training, those 200 odd people, and they had got results. So they told others that this guy is doing something great. And then, it completely spread by word of mouth. Also, there were almost 50,000 people in the group, right? So those people who personally could not read from the book, who wanted to personally get trained, they had access to coaches.
So how do you go about having such a team that's probably spread across different cities in India? Because your coaches network, I assume, isn't just in one area, right? So how do you make it work with the coaches?
Look, it's a very simple system. We don't call our coaches as employees; they are vendors, right? So if you think about it, they're actually entrepreneurs. Where they are offering their services to our company. In return, they're getting money, and their primary service is to the people who are enrolling with them, right? So it's actually pretty easy once you define the role and you set certain expectations that, guys, look, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is what we don't do. And if you do this, you get X amount of money every month. On top of that, it's amazing work, which you probably love doing. And that's why you joined this company in the first place. So I think one of the key factors that has helped Fittr in reaching this level is the kind of people that we have worked with and continue to look for to work with in future. And the second thing is just the sheer vision, like what are we trying to achieve here? We're just trying to make people fit. What possibly could go wrong there? It's not like we are trying to create an AI or a tool that can probably end up destroying the world. What we are trying to do is we are trying to save the world. And so I think the philosophy is very simple. It's very elementary. Anybody can understand. When somebody asks me, what do you want to do? I say, I'm just trying to make people fit. And I guess everybody would want to do that, right? Who would say, you know what, I don't want to make anybody fit. I want to make everybody unfit. Nobody wants to do that, right? So they're kind of like superheroes. So it feels good.
Okay. So what is Fittr's vision? Where do you guys see yourself in the next 10 years? Right.
Well, our original vision was to, train and transform 50 million lives in a span of 5 years. And now the vision has transcended from that. And the idea is to create a global community of 1 billion people who are engaged in, mental, physical, and social well-being. The idea being that fitness cannot be a destination. It cannot even be called as a job, because fitness is what? It's just basic body hygiene. Like when you take a shower or you brush your teeth, you don't go about talking about it to the whole world. You don't say, hey, taking a shower is not a destination; it's a journey. Like it sounds funny, but that's exactly what fitness is. if you think about it, fitness is just basic body hygiene, just like you take care of your teeth by brushing them every single day, just like you shave or take a shower to take care of your skin and your face. In a similar manner, you eat right and exercise every single day to take care of your body in and out. And once you take care of this amazing body that has been provided, and it's pretty agile, you can use it to perform different kinds of tasks. One of them is like you can build stuff, right? So if you are not suffering from any kind of physical ailments, there's a good chance that you end up spending a lot more time on doing more productive stuff. So reduced medical bills, reduced whatever problems you're having, that automatically leads to more productivity and more time for yourself and building more amazing stuff, right? So I personally feel that people need to experience that. People need to experience how amazing their lives would be if they didn't have any sort of physical ailments. They'd be able to do much more than what they're doing right now. And that's the basic core philosophy,
All right. So, but most of your customers, they probably approach it for a particular goal. For instance, maybe they just want to lose a certain amount of kilos, or maybe they just want to gain a certain amount of kilos. How do you make sure that they're coming back to you and staying with Fittr?
Well, we don't really actually actively try to pursue them or make them come back. In fact, we don't have a marketing team. We don't have any sort of marketing. Till date, we are 100% organic business, which means that whatever we have achieved or whatever we're going to achieve in future, there's no marketing element involved, right? So everything is word of mouth. And I think what works in our favor is 100% transparency. The fact that we don't really want people to come to us ends up, making more people somehow coming back to us. And surprisingly, the renewals are pretty high for a business like ours. And we tell people that, hey, you don't need to come back to us, because we are giving you the knowledge, and we are also hand-holding you for 3 months, 6 months, or X amounts of period. Now, this is a good enough time, and you should be fit. Also, you should be quite knowledgeable by this time. But somehow, the people come back. And we can't complain, of course, but it's just crazy how everything works. I think at the core of everything is transparency. At the core of everything is intent and what you really want. This is something I keep telling people, what I really want is that nobody should actively pursue fitness, But nobody is actively looking for coaches who will tell them how to take a shower or brush their teeth. And the day that happens, Fittr will cease to exist. It will be my genuine pleasure to retire. But till that day, we are sort of a necessity.
That's very noble of you to say. So as an entrepreneur, what would your definition of success be? This was one of the questions we received on our type form as well.
Right. And for me, it's very simple. I see everything as the number of people you're responsible for. And I'll give you a live example of that as, for example, your parents. If somebody looks at you, they'd probably say your parents are pretty successful to have raised a daughter like you successfully, right? So because your parents were directly responsible for your upbringing, they are successful because they've done their job successfully. Now, the same thing can be scaled in all directions. For example, if you're a team leader and if your team is performing constantly well, somebody will come back and say, you're a successful team manager, or you're a successful team leader, or you're a successful politician, or you're a successful entrepreneur. So the number of people you're responsible for, at the end of the day, if those people are growing, if those people are thriving, that means you are successful. And the measure of your true success is the number of people you're directly responsible for. So I'd say the most successful people in this country is the Prime Minister himself, because he's responsible for 1.4 billion people, right? If those 1.4 billion people are thriving, he's the most successful guy on the planet, right? So that's my definition of success. The number of people responsible underneath you or are directly the ones who you're responsible for, and if they are getting better or not. So if people are getting better and because of you, they are getting better, you're successful. You're more successful.
Okay, so Fittr has two different things, right? One is their, the consultation bit where you actually help people transform themselves. And there's also one where you're training people to become coaches. How do you balance growth for both? These are two different things that you will have to focus on, right?
Right. So one is of course, the demand side and the supply side, right? The demand is crazy. The demand is crazy, and that's why we have been able to scale from 14 coaches to 220 coaches. However, like you mentioned, it's definitely a very thin line to work on, and definitely a very fine balance. Because if you exponentially increase the number of coaches, and even if the demand is there, the quality goes down substantially. So we have to have enough number of checks and balances in place. See, because like I said, these coaches are not employees. They are accountable for everything that they do. And for them to be successful coaches, they have to personally become brands. Just like I have my own personal number, some of these coaches have their own personal numbers. Some of these coaches want to touch 100,000 lives individually. So that 50 million or a 1 billion target is not coming from me. It's coming from these coaches. Right? So we look for certain characteristics in people, and we understand that if we just focus on the fundamentals, the growth will come. Because if you look today, there's almost 2 billion people on the planet who are suffering from lifestyle diseases, and there's no solution to lifestyle diseases. The only solution is to fix your lifestyle. And to fix lifestyle, either people can do it by themselves, or they're going to need help of coaches like we have on Fittr platform. So there's definitely a huge demand. But the fact is, are we going to reach out to these people and make the transition? It has to be successful, right? It cannot be a failed transition. Otherwise, the whole thing will come down like a house of cards. So I think for us, the most important thing is that sticking very core to our values. We see the number of coaches being utilized every month, the coach utilization number, and based on which we determine how many coaches we have to absorb further. For example, this month, our coach utilization will be roughly around 90%. And we open very limited slots every month. So every coach gets around 20, 25 slots, including renewals. That means they cannot take any more coaches that month. So coaches have, the customers are divided equally between all 220 coaches, right? And that keeps a check on quality. Apart from that, we have constant, client feedback. We have regular audits, and we have a lot of quality factors in place. We measure our NPS, we measure our success rate, we measure our refund rate, and we also measure our other key metrics like how many clients are actually spending time on the app, or what is the average client and customer interaction, the coach and client interaction. So all those things allow us to make more informed, better decisions. And based on that, we funnel our supply, we funnel our supply from the coaching side. And we roughly have around 6,000 scholars who have graduated from the academy, and we pick the top 1%.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so everybody does not get to be a coach at Fittr. You handpick coaches out of the ones who completed.
Yeah. It's not easy to become a Fittr coach. And we treat our coaches very, very amazingly well, and that's why our retention number is pretty high. Our retention would be roughly around 98% or more. And just to give you a sense of how well we treat our coaches, last month our coaches' average salary would be an upward of $1,000+. And this month, not 1,000, actually more than that. And this month, our coaches' earning would be net $1,400+. I know that's a crazy number, but that's true. That's true.
That's very crazy numbers for here, yeah. Also, I noticed that on your group, coaches are very active. They take initiative and they post by themselves. How do you encourage that behavior? How do you get them to actually be more active on your groups?
Look, I think a lot of people have confusion about what is brand, what is marketing, and all those things. What is brand? If I ask somebody, what do you mean by brand? Like, you recognize something. Just because you recognize something, do you go ahead and make a purchase? Brand equates trust. Who do you trust? How do you build that trust? I think the best amount of best brands are the ones which actually help humans evolve or take the humanity forward. And this is something which we keep hammering on again and again between our coaches and again internally in terms of company values and setting the right kind of culture. We say help everybody. So when you help 10 people, even if one come back and pays you, that's good enough, right? It's a freemium model, which means that you help 10 people, one person comes back and pays you, and you're sorted. So if you help 100 people, 10 people will come back and help you. So the coaches don't have to do additional kind of marketing. Helping somebody is the best marketing, best branding you can do ever. And it's as simple as this. If somebody asks me what's your best branding or marketing strategy, I'd say I'm going to go and help these 100 people, and probably if they like my work, 10 of them will come back, and they'll find my time worth their money.
Okay. So as an entrepreneur who has also raised funding, how important would you say is personal branding, and how do you take care of your own personal branding? I saw that you have a pretty big LinkedIn audience as well. What do you have to say about personal branding?
I think if your company is your baby, you are definitely a parent, right? And like they say, an apple cannot fall far from the tree, which means your company is not going to be much different from who you actually are. So if I'm a bad person, I'm probably somebody who's creating an evil company. And if I'm a good person, I'm going to make sure that my company is good too, right? So for me, I think my company lives the exact same values which I live with every single day. And so personal branding is just that, who you are is what becomes of your company, and who you are, what you believe in, eventually sets the culture of the company. At the end of the day, if I'm a bad person, if I'm not doing what's needed, it's going to set the wrong kind of precedent. Even if I faked it, I can only fake it for so long before somebody figures out that, no, this guy is not what he says, he's somebody else. And then that sets the wrong kind of culture. And those kind of bad signaling is what ruins an entire company, right? So personal branding is extremely, extremely important. You have to be what your company you want to be like. That's it. End of story. Period. If you're a bad person, your company is probably a bad company. Only good guys can make good companies.
Okay. Another question that we received on the type form: what is the strategy followed for continuous success by accidental entrepreneur?
Transparency. Whether you're going through periods of constant success, or if you're going through struggles, I think people are out there. People are super receptive, and people are extremely, extremely helpful and supportive. So I remember sharing my times when I was depressed and when the company wasn't performing that good, the mistakes I've done in the past. And sometimes when you put it out there and people say, hey, it's going to be fine, that's a tremendous amount of support. And I think when somebody comes back and says, hey, JC, because of you, XYZ, this has happened and it changed my life, I think these positive words of encouragement, motivation, they just give you that invisible, more boost. And it's so crazy that you just want to forget everything and just move forward. So I think one thing is that you have to absorb all the positivity around you and use it to your advantage. Make sure that you're waking up and doing your best every single day. And the second thing I think is prioritizing everything. Right? For example, no matter what, I have to exercise every single day because I realize that if I don't exercise, it spoils my mood, and throughout the day I'll be just grumpy, and that can have cascading effect. Right? So setting the right kind of habits, doing the same thing over and over again. And I think the same culture is being followed in the company. I tell people, hey, it's not the job that's important. It's what you do and how you do is the most important thing. And a typical example, which I keep giving everybody, is like, think about a runner who's running on a road. You won't probably even flinch. Think about a runner who's probably running 100 kilometers. Now you'd probably bat an eye, right? Think about a guy who's running 1,000 kilometers, and probably that guy has a world record or something. And a guy who has ran 10,000 kilometers is probably a legend or once in a millennial kind of guy, right? So you see, the job is same. It's running. But the way people are doing it is what defines them, right? It completely changes you. It makes you an ordinary person into an extraordinary person because of what you're doing. And a lot has to do with consistency. And it's built over a period of time. So I believe in the power of compounding. It means that, take small, simple steps every single day. Over a period of time, they become like huge. So these are some of the things which I personally follow, and I ask my team members also to follow.
Okay. Another question we received was about time management as an entrepreneur. How do you manage your time?
I mean, I honestly don't know. If I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? I'd probably be still a software engineer, hiding from one company to another. because I love this. Because I love this, I love every aspect of it. So it's not work for me. It's love for me. So everything I do is just fun. So I don't think about I don't think of it as work. It's fun, and that's how my team is actually. We have fun. You wouldn't believe, but we have an employee group which is we renamed it today. We called it the Fittr Good Morning Group because every single day all people do is good morning everyone, good morning everyone. So I think the fun culture it follows, and my bonding with my co-founders, even the senior team members, it's childlike, it's kiddish. We are we love humor, we crack jokes, and I think it's a very intricate bonding. Plus, we have been around with each other for so long, it literally feels like I'm married to so many people. You know. So
Okay.
I think these are all some common factors which just makes everything easier for you, and you don't think about time as such. Plus 24 hours, trust me, it's a lot of time for anybody.
Okay. But what advice would you have for, say, other founders who, because being a founder can be pretty stressful, you have a company to take care of, which is your baby. You also have to worry about investors, funding that you all already may have picked up, and growth of the company and everything. And but how do you lead a healthy lifestyle as a founder? Or what are some steps you can take?
Well, I think it all boils down to priority, and it all boils down to how much you want something. First thing is you have to believe that this universe is it's very amazing, and I strongly believe in the law of attraction, which means that if you want something bad enough, it somehow comes to you. And sometimes when you set a goal, probably in a distant future, you automatically start making conscious choices that lead you towards that goal. So one of the biggest thing I want people to understand is that if you're not setting a goal, you'll probably reach somewhere where you don't want to go, right? But if you set up a goal for yourself, subconsciously you start making the right kind of decision, which will lead you towards that goal. And it's an amazing and powerful thing to wake up to every single morning. Because if you're not waking up to something interesting, where's the driver, right? And what's driving you? Why would you even wake up? And that's what happens when people say, "Oh, it's Monday. Oh, it's Sunday. Oh, it's Saturday." For me, every day is just fun day. You know.
Okay. Let me check what other questions we've received. How does one deal with the frequent on and off situation with respect to fitness and eating healthy? Need practical advice rather than about mindset, discipline, motivation. Personally, I have been overweight most of my life, and then I had a drastic weight loss, and since then have been on and off.
Right. So anybody who's asked this question, I have one advice for you. Okay. So only cheat when you're not taking a shower or not brushing your teeth. Every single day that you're brushing your teeth and taking a shower, you have to follow the right kind of fitness regime. You have to eat right and exercise. There's no excuse around that. The reason why I'm saying this is because you're taking fitness in a very different manner. People think, oh, this guy is fit. He is always maintaining six-pack abs. He's ripped. He must be spending like 4 hours working out. Not really. I never lost my abs. So the fact is, like, I work out every single day, 45 minutes. I eat right every single day, so I don't have to worry about losing, my fitness. And obviously, as I grow older, I'll have to probably keep working out harder and harder. But like again, I mentioned, like, people underestimate the effect of compounding. Like, you take one small step today, and you keep taking these small steps, and over a period of time, these become giant strides. So do not underestimate that fact. Fitness is not a hobby. Fitness is not hard. You're not making a sacrifice. It's a habit, like brushing your teeth, taking shower. And what's the end result? Hygiene. I mean, think about it. What happens when you actually exercise and lose weight or gain muscles? What happens? Visible changes, like your teeth gets whiten up. You probably have a better looking face. You probably have better fitting clothes. But in reality, what is happening? Your teeth is clean, so that's they're free from any sort of diseases. Your skin is clean, so you don't have any diseases. Your body is clean, So it does not have any internal or external problems. That's the end result. But people focus on short-term results, which is they're looking good. Well, that's a side effect. In reality, what you're doing is you're adding numbers to your age. You're adding numbers to your health. Look at the long-term effects. Like I said, if you don't have the long-term vision, if you don't have a clarity on what you're doing, you'll end up getting confused.
Okay. So you rely a lot on online presence, right? What do you guys do for offline engagements and, to connect with people physically? Do you do anything?
Right. So we sadly we don't have any gyms or anything, but we do have offline events. We have monthly meets. We do a lot of charity events like powerlifting meets. We do blood donation camps. We do tree plantation drives, and all of this we used to do before the whole COVID situation happened. We in fact have 4,500 plus volunteers all over the world, which were also active throughout COVID. So it's not that we are just an online community. It's a very tight knit community, which is not just online but offline also. And we also have our annual event last year we conducted in Goa, and we had roughly 1,000 plus people coming in. We were hoping to make it even bigger, and expecting a footfall of around 10,000 this year. Sadly, COVID happened, and so now it's kind of in a cool bag. So let's see what happens. But we do have offline presence as well.
Okay. What is a message you would have for other founders or, just people with good ideas who want to make a business out of their ideas?
I think it's a perfect time. Solve a problem. Don't get fancy. I think if you're solving a problem, don't worry about funding. Don't worry about anything. I mean, think about it. Why are you doing it in first place? If it's not for fun, if it's not giving you the joy, then probably you're just going to end up bad. If it's not giving you fun, if it's not giving you joy, if it's something that you don't feel strongly about, then quit it. Okay, probably you're better off doing a job or something. But you're really passionate about solving a problem, then think about it. You're solving a problem, right? How does it matter about the other variables? If you have solved that problem for even 1%, isn't the purpose served? Are you receiving the joy out of it? And that's about it, right? That's entrepreneurship for you. For me, it's not the revenues. That's the fun part. The fun part is how many lives are we touching? How many people are coming back and saying, "Oh, look, this is the change you guys have brought in my life." And it's the only thing that keeps me going every single day, because every single day I wake up and think about that number. Hey, 1 billion people. Can we make this a community? And then the whole thought process revolves around that. Today we are here. This is the number. What would it take for us to reach from this number to that number? I think that's really important. So you have to set a long-term vision for yourself and do it for the fun of it. Don't do it because somebody told you, oh, you have to be an entrepreneur. It's like a regular job.
What are some lessons that you've learned as an entrepreneur in these last 5 years?
I'd say so. Look, I would absolutely say that you always have to stay humble, because everything in this life is transient, and this is the most important lesson that one can learn. No matter how much you try to control things, it's better to understand that if you go with the flow, you'd probably be more happier than trying to offer resistance and trying to build up that ego that, oh, I'm doing everything, I'm controlling everything. No, you're not. Okay, even though you think you are, but you're not. So I think one of the most important things you have to understand is that we don't really control anything. Things are happening as they're supposed to, like it's been also mentioned in some of the religious texts. So I deeply believe in that thing. And if you go with the flow, you're going to be more content, more happy or not, I'm not sure, but more content for sure. You'll understand things in a much better manner if you just went with the flow. So go with the flow and believe in the power of universe. It's amazing. Nobody can do any kind of harm to you. So most of the people get scared. Oh, what will happen? This will happen. That will happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. What can you do today about it? So don't
so that would be for risks as well. Risks that you'd have taken business and stuff.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
Risks that you have to take as an entrepreneur, that would be your advice?
Honestly, for me, like I said, it was a smooth cakewalk. Like how many people actually end up making 10 lakh rupees in the first month itself.
Yeah.
All right. So for us, it was definitely a cakewalk. It was very, very easy for me. And I think it was easy because I was not trying to control anything. Like I said, all my life I was trying to control everything. Like I was trying to control the managers who I was working under. I was trying to control which company I went into, the kind of projects I was working on. I was trying to control, control, control. I was a control freak. And then the day I realized, look, the only thing I can control is myself. Everything changed. So don't try to control anything else. You just have to control one thing. That's yourself. And as long as you do that, everything seems easy. Okay, like today, somebody will stand in my shoes and feel, oh, JC, it must have been a very struggling phase. Honestly, if somebody came back to me and said, JC, would you do it all over again? I said, of course, I would, because it was fun. Right? So don't worry about challenges. Don't worry about anything. A lot of people end up wasting a lot of time worrying about stuff. Like I said, don't worry about stuff. Just do, do, do. That's it.
All right, this was a great chat. Thank you so much for joining me, JC. I'm hoping to host you again sometime.
Sure.
See you.
Thanks. I'm sorry about this thing, man. Guys, my hair, like I really badly need a haircut. Sorry about this.
All right, so I'm going to end the live now. Thank you to everybody who joined in. Hope you all had a great session.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot, Karthika. A pleasure of mine. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.